Hi, welcome to another edition of Dish It Out. I'm Doug Fee. Welcome to the Culinary Center at Mercer County Community College. I have my very special guest today is Chef Instructor Scott Engel from Mercer County Technical School. Thanks for coming.
Having us today.
And you brought some special guests with you?
I do. I have two of my students, Paul Bartholomew and Alyssa Colon, and they're going to help me out today. We're going to do a roast tenderloin of venison with Grand Veneer sauce and some herb spetzel, as well as some haricot vert and mushroom ragu. So let's get started.
Sounds great. So what's first up on our menu?
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to sear off our venison tenderloin.
And tenderloin being a more tender
Definitely more tender
part
kind.
of
I got this from a hunter friend of mine, and it was very nice of them to give us some tenderloin, which is a nice piece of meat to work with. So one is a real nice hot pan with a little bit of clarified butter, and I'm going to sear off the tenderloin and finish it, roast it off into the oven. It'll only take a few minutes. What I'm going to do is make sure I caramelize it real well and brown it up. I have some salt and pepper here for seasoning.
Now, with most games, you adhere to the rules of thumb that it's either go really fast or really slow.
Yeah, this is really fast. I don't want to leave it in there. I want it nice and tender. We're just going to wait for it to loosen up in the pan a little bit. There we go. Get it nice and seared. There's not a whole lot of fat content in this, so it doesn't release in the pan right away.
Very lean. Now, how does the tenderloin compare to other parts of the animal as far as sometimes it's gamey?
It can be gamey as well, depending on where you get it from, whether it's farm raised or whether it's from New Jersey here or other states. I'm going to put that in the oven, allow that to roast, and we're going to turn it over to Alyssa here. Who's going to talk to us a little bit about spetzel.
Thank you, Chef. All right. Well, I'm going to start off with 3 eggs. Start mixing it. And as I'm mixing it, I'm going to start pouring in my milk. This is 6 ounces, by the way.
Whole milk?
Yep.
Okay.
Then I'm going to add a little bit of nutmeg, just for taste.
Ooh, one of my favorites, nutmeg.
Mix this up a little bit. And some salt and white pepper for taste as well. And then I'm going to add roughly about 8 ounces of flour. The flour varies for the consistency of the spetzel. I'm going to slowly start pouring this.
This is all-purpose flour here?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what kind of a consistency are you looking for here, Alyssa?
A heavy batter, and you want it to fall off the spatula when you're mixing it.
Good. How long have you been a student of Chef Engel's?
This is actually my first year.
So far, so good?
Yep. Once I'm done with this, I'm going to take this ready pan over here cold. I'm going to place it over, and I think Paul's going to help me by pouring the spetzel in while I scrape it over. And then the spetzel is going to go into the boiling water and cook for about 10 to 15 seconds.
Okay. Not long at all. What happens if you go too long?
And it tastes very good.
You get soggy spetzel.
Not good.
Nobody's favorites.
No.
Yeah.
Soggy spetzel is not one of my favorites at all.
You can add a little bit more flour.
Something pretty good there.
Now, how many students do you have in your program, Scott?
We have 16 in the AM class and 16 in the PM class.
That keeps you busy.
It does. About 2 hours and 45 minutes a day.
Now I'm going to add my herbs, my fine herbs. Just dump all this in there.
And what selection of herbs do you have in here today?
Parsley and thyme.
This looks pretty good. I think you got that right there.
Just like this. Maybe just a little bit more.
I think you're good. I like that. Very good.
All right, you want to help me, Paul? pour it a little bit more. Now I'm just going to push the spatula down into the holes, make sure it gets into the pot. But the key thing is you don't want this bowl to get too close into the water because you don't want it to cook in the pan.
It's very nice, very nice.
Now, if I wanted to use something besides water, could I use something else? Have you?
Sure, actually.
Okay. Well, in your case, what are we going to do with the spatula once it's done?
We're going to serve it with fried onions, and it's going to go with the venison.
Okay. So it's going to be sautéed off, give it a little flavor.
I think that looks good there. We can get
Okay,
that
good.
out
Let's
of
see
the
what we
water.
got.
All right. There you go.
Excellent. Very nice.
Then I'm going to take the spatula and chill it in water.
Cold water, stop our cooking process.
Mm-hmm.
And do you have salt in your water here, in the
Yes.
boiling water?
You put salt as it was boiling.
I'm going to check on our venison loin here and get that overdone.
Terrific.
Well, next up, while our venison loin is finishing up, we're going to do a little bit of green bean ragu here with Paul. So Paul's going to start off with a little bit of whole butter. And quickly go with the shallots into the hot pan. And we're going to add our haricot vert. Oh, that's very good, Paul. Excellent. All right, over here we have our julienne red pepper. That looks real good.
The pretty colors.
The pretty colors. And we have a mixture of some shiitake and portobello mushrooms. And we'll season with a little bit of salt and pepper. And just a tiny bit of lemon zest. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to saute this up real nice. And we're going to end up finishing with some chicken stock and some heavy cream and a little bit of fresh herbs. I do like the fresh herbs. You want to put a little bit of fresh herbs in there for us, Paul, please?
With our fresh herbs, we can go with some bold flavor since we're serving it with some venison.
Absolutely. I have a little tarragon, a little chervil in there. And it rounds it out real nice. It's starting to look real good. We'll hit it with a little bit of chicken stock.
Now, were those our green beans blanched off a
Oh,
bit?
those were blanched ahead of time. Yeah.
Okay.
We got some nice fresh haricot vert.
Now, if you wanted to blanch them at home, you could easily just do it in the microwave, soften them up a little bit.
We're going to cook this down until the chicken stock and the heavy cream evaporate mainly. It's starting to look real good. There's some variations you see at Thanksgiving of green bean casserole, and I guess this is maybe where it started from.
There you go. Yes.
This is a little bit more high-end version of that. So we'll set that off to the side.
Of course, high-end, what we like to show our students, both at the technical school and here at Mercer County Community College. We want to give them the most bang for their buck here and
Most
a great
definitely.
education.
Most definitely.
When I need you, I just close my eyes and I'm with you. And all that I so wanna give you, it's only a
You don't have to be a hero to be a hero.
away.
When you adopt a child from foster care, just being there makes all the difference.
Hey, good game. Oh, there he is. Great game, man. This year's MVP goes to Jake.
afterwards, and eventually everyone will see you for what you really are. A fake, a fraud, an asterisk. Don't be an asterisk.
I'm starving. What's for breakfast?
Guten Tag!
Johannes, Franz!
I bring you arts-enriched Raisinblums, fortified with increased test scores and creative problem-solving skills.
It's good!
And good for you. Bobby? Susie? Don't worry, that's just the power of the art!
Feed your kids the arts. For 10 simple ways to learn how, visit AmericansForTheArts.org.
You're unique. So are we at Mercer County Community College. Over 60 majors to choose from. Discover your unique path and turn your passion into a career. Small classes and enthusiastic professors. Follow your unique path here at Mercer County Community College.
We're going to get our Spätzle going. So I have a nice hot pan here and some clarified butter. That because I want to caramelize my onions, and I don't really want to. I don't want to burn our butter, so we're going to use clarified. Oh, here we go. There's the onions. So what I'm going to do is caramelize these. Get that moving.
Nice and brown, sweeten them up a bit.
Absolutely. And then I have some Spätzle that we did a little bit earlier here, and it's dried off. I do like to work with it dry. I don't like to get the water into the hot pan because it's dangerous, of course. So let it dry off, and if I was going to keep it, I'd make my Spätzle maybe a few hours before service and chill it down and lightly oil it. And it's a good way to keep it. And then you can take it out and saute it the water, whatever,
Right.
Whatever type of operation you're using. So
Try and hold it too long, and you're going to get soggy.
absolutely.
Soggy
Just going to
stuff.
check on my tenderloin here. It's very nice. With the wild game, I want to shoot for like a medium to medium rare. I want a little bit of color in it, but I want to make sure that it's cooked, thoroughly enough, because it is something that we need to take into consideration: proper sanitation, food safety.
Sounds just is this something that you work with your students and show them how to work with game meats or all different cuts of meats? Or cooking
Occasionally,
methods?
we don't serve any of the game meats to any of the customers that come in because they haven't been inspected. But if I'm lucky enough to have somebody bring some through, then we'll play with it a little bit in the kitchen and show it to them. And some of the things that you see here might be something we'll do for some of our banquets. We do about 30 or 40 a year with the students. We stay pretty busy. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add my Spätzle, and I'm just going to kind of start to sear it a little bit, just a tiny little bit. It will caramelize, but I don't want to cook it because, of course, it's a pasta, but it gives it just a little bit of flavor. And I'm going to finish with just a little bit of demi-glaze, like that.
That'll give you some nice flavor.
And we got a little bit of salt and pepper. I think we're about ready to plate.
Outstanding.
So I'm excited about that. Move some of these things out of the way. All right. So we'll take some of our Spätzle here. Put that on the plate. Nice. All right. And then we'll grab our green bean ragu. Got some nice color there with the red peppers and the mushrooms. Very nice. We'll have to clean that plate up before we serve it.
Of course. Standard operating procedure.
Standard operating procedure. Yeah, we spilled a little bit there. Get rid of that. And we have our venison tenderloin. And I'm going to keep the drippings from the pan. I'm going to get them started in here. And we are going to add our Provence sauce. And our Provence sauce is a reduction, a vinegar and white wine and peppercorn reduction with some mirepoix and some fresh herbs as well. And the reason I'm using the same pan is there's a lot of flavor in this pan. I want to make sure that we have all that nice flavor.
Right.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take our Provence sauce and we're going to start to reduce it.
And now what's in our sauce here?
Okay. Well, this is white wine, and we have a little bit of vinegar in the reduction of the mirepoix. But when we finish the Provence sauce, what we're going to do is add some currants to it, which add a little bit of sweetness, which I really, really like. And we're actually, instead of, a lot of times I'll finish sauces with butter, and we're going to finish this one with just a little bit of heavy cream.
Oh, that smells wonderful.
Now that that's ready.
It's cooked just right.
Yeah.
It's like you've done this once or twice, Chef.
I have. We're very excited about this. Getting the opportunity to come down here and show a little bit about what we do. I just like to finish with a little bit of sauce, a few of the currants. And when we serve something like this, we'll garnish it with a few fried leeks, which I have here. A little trouble getting them loose. And it's a nice, nice garnish with a nice flavor that goes very well with the venison and the spätzle.
Has a little crunch, a little nice texture to that.
Little crunch. So it's very simple. It's a nice fall dish, and there are a lot of hunters, in this area, and so this is something that you could do, easily.
Sure.
Very impressive dinner.
Yeah, and there's a lot of local companies that carry game meat. So if you haven't tried it, it's worth a shot because this smells
Absolutely.
wonderful, and I'm looking forward to trying this. So that's our first segment here with Chef Engel. So thanks for joining us for this segment. We'll be right back with more in just a bit.
Get that. Oh, I must be careful there. Well, that's a nice picture.
Come on, Anna.
Okay.
Foreclosure doesn't affect just you. It affects your whole family, too. If you've fallen behind on your mortgage, we can help. Call 1-888-995-HOPE because nothing is worse than doing nothing.
No matter where you live, life in the ocean depends on you. To help protect our ocean, recycle and dispose of your trash properly. To learn what you can do, go to keepoceansclean.org.
My name's Brandon. 9 years old, being alcoholic.
Hi, Brandon.
I'll start drinking with the older kids. And whatever they do, I'll do.
Kids who drink before age 15 are 5 times more likely to have alcohol problems when they're adults. So start talking before they start drinking.
I know it'll start with alcohol. I'm just not sure how it's gonna end.
I think it breaks a little to the left.
To the right.
Nope, straight.
I told you it was going right.
Get up, get up, get up, and be a player. Get up, get up, get up. Get up, get up, get up, and be a player. Get up, get up, get up. Get up, get up, get up, and be a player.
Get up and play an hour a day.
For fun playtime ideas, go online. Just don't stay long.
Hey, welcome back to Dish It Out, special episode where we have some guests from the Mercer County Technical School, Chef Instructor Scott Engel and student Paul Bartholomew. Thank you guys for joining us again.
Thanks for having us, Doug. I appreciate it.
So now we're going to make a pecan tart.
Pecan tart.
Okay, so where do we start?
Well, we're going to start off with the dough. We're going to go over here to the mixer, and we're going to use the creaming method. And so we're going to take our butter and our sugar. We're going to put that into the mixer, and we'll let that cream for a second. And we'll stop for a second, just scrape down the sides. This will cream together pretty quick because the kitchen's a little warm today. So
butter is nice and soft.
Butter is nice and soft. That helped us out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my eggs one at a time. scrape it down one more time to make sure that we have everything incorporated. And before I start it back up, I'm going to add my flavoring, some almond extract, which really gives it a unique flavor, and some pure vanilla extract. Oh, almond disappeared. Look at that.
Okay. Well, we'll
Oh, I have it right here. Couldn't hardly see it. Excellent. All right, so we're going to mix that. And then I have two types of flour. I'm adding all-purpose flour into the mixer.
All right.
And 2 tablespoons of cake flour. And that just kind of lightens it up just a little bit.
Why do you add the why the 2 different flours?
Well, somewhere along the line, I can't take credit for this recipe, but somewhere along the line, they wanted to play with the cookie dough a little bit and found that it came out a little bit lighter. And so there was a talented pastry chef someplace, I'm sure, that they came up with this ratio, and best off that we follow it. There are a few baking things that I like to do. Very few. I'm a chef by trade, but there are some things I like to do, and this is one of my favorites. So I stick to the recipe that was developed by the expert.
If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Absolutely. Very good. So when our dough's done, what we're going to do is we're going to lay it out into a bowl and cover it, and then we're going to chill it down for about an hour and roll it out into a pie tart.
Okay. And once we've rolled it out,
well, then what we're going to do is we're going to end up with a tartlet, or tart shell rather, and we're going to put that into the oven for about 10 minutes and give it a little bit of a head start. This is very much just a short dough cookie. It's got a little bit of sweetness to it. And it's good for a lot of things. You can make the miniature tartlets and all kinds of different desserts and so forth. So we're going to start with that, and then we're going to come over here and do our filling. And our filling starts off with whole butter, heavy cream,
a little bit of fat in this recipe.
Just a little bit, but. Actually, if you don't have that, the sugars are going to get so hard that you'll end up breaking your teeth trying to eat this. So it's important to have the right ratio of fats and sugars so that when it bakes off, it still has a little bit of softness to it. Then we're going to take our brown sugar here, add this in, and then our white sugar.
You have a preference with light brown versus dark brown sugar on this?
Light brown is typically what I stock in my kitchen. I find that it's good for just about everything. And yes, with the dark brown, it's a little bit too rich, a little molassesy for my taste, so I kind of prefer to stick with the light brown.
So now you have something new going on in the fall, I hear.
Yes, we do. Up at the SciPec Center, we have a new baking and hospitality program starting. And I've been lucky enough to be involved with some of the planning and on the committee. And actually, we've gotten some help from yourself, which was very nice. So we're getting the program together, getting the bake shop together, and I'm very excited about it. These are some of the things that they'll be producing there in the bake shop while I'm over in the kitchen doing my thing. I want to stay away from the bake shop.
Well, just a sample, maybe.
A sample. I enjoy eating, definitely, but not so much of the baking.
Now this is actually going to come to looks like a pretty good boil here.
Yeah, it needs to come to a pretty good boil, and what we're doing is we're getting it up to one of the things that I really enjoy about this recipe is not having to use a thermometer. So I know that when I bring this up and I boil it for a couple of minutes, we're going to be good, and I'm going to add my pecans, and we're going to boil that for another minute or two, and I'm going to add it into my shell, and we're going to bake it off for 10 minutes, and it works every time. So again, like you were saying before, we don't want to mess with the recipe. It works, and I'm real pleased with it. So we've got to get everything dissolved here. Just come to a boil for a few minutes. I can feel on the bottom there's still a little bit of graininess from the sugars, and I'll know when that dissolves, and I can see the butter course. And when that comes up into a nice syrup, we should be good to go. So our syrup's up to a nice boil here, and I can feel that all the graininess is gone, everything's dissolved. And now it's time to add our pecans. And what we're going to do is we're going to boil this for a minute or two and just let the syrup get into the pecan. Get it all mixed around nice. Well, actually, the nice thing about this is you can actually freeze it and retain the majority of its quality. I do prefer to serve them the next day, but if need be, you can stock them, and they work pretty well. We have frozen them for up to 14 days and been okay with it. So it's kind of a versatile product. So I'm going to take, this makes about two tarts here. So I'm going to take this and pour it into my shell, making sure that I have an even amount of syrup in the pecans. And it won't level off much in the oven. See, the way it looks going in is the way it's going to look coming out. So you want to make sure you kind of smooth that out just a little bit. Paul, if you take that for me. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this pre-baked tart shell and we're going to put it into this oven at 350 degrees.
I've made a variation of this recipe, and we've actually cut it into squares or diamonds. And I find the shelf life on this, even at room temperature, if you want to leave it around for even a week, it holds up pretty well. The short dough itself starts to dry up a little bit on you, but it does hold without any problems, and people are still going to eat it and rave about it.
Absolutely. I get a lot of comments and a lot of requests for recipes, on this, and I enjoy giving them out. We have a little bit of wild turkey creme anglaise, so I took just a little bit of the wild turkey liquor and added it with the creme anglaise. It gives a very nice flavor, and strawberries are coming into season. We have a few of those on display, so just a little bit of creme anglaise and a strawberry is very elegant. Paul?
Terrific.
Use your pot holders, you want to get burnt there. Pretty good if you'd set that down right up here for us. Very nice, very nice. All right, we have a finished version right over here. I think we'll take this strawberry and reserve it for our garnish. I'm going to put the tart down on our cutting board. And cut a piece off and see what it looks like finished on the plate. Now I've garnished this with a little bit of chocolate, which I enjoy. We'll take a little bit of creme anglaise and put it down on the plate there. Oh, it's a little thick today.
Now, is this something that you would consider heating up before service?
The creme anglaise?
No, the pie.
Oh,
the tart.
yes. No, I like to have it just a little bit warm.
Right.
Take the chill off of it and just on the warm side. If it heats up too much, though, even probably around 110 degrees, it's going to start to weep a little bit. So it is sensitive, but you take it out of room temperature for about a half hour or so before you serve it, and maybe just flash it in an oven for a minute or two, and it works out very, very well. We'll just take our Jersey berry here. That's a great little dessert and a good way to have some in the freezer just in case the party grows a little bit.
There you go. Good to have around.
Yes, it is.
And good to have you around.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us today.
Appreciate
Chef,
that.
Well, thanks for joining us. I hope you join us again here on Dish It Out. Look for us here, or look for us on our website, mccc.edu/HRIM, and come join us in our kitchens here. We'd love to have you. We'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us.